Welcome back everyone, Oz here, and today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be narrating the post, giving you my opinion at the end, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by DirectCaterpillar77. Satan is not a pogo stick, is their tagline. I, 26 female, found out that my husband, 27 male, has been keeping a secret box of Momentos on the top shelf of our closet, and I don't know what to do about it or if I should even bring it up. Gotta be honest, the reason why this one's being included is because I'm rewatching Dexter right now. As a general reminder, Direct Caterpillar is not the OP. The OP of this post is Fishing Think 92. This was originally posted to r/relationship advice. General content warning for stalking and obsessive behavior. Originally posted November 26, 2023. I, 26 female, found out that my husband, 27 male, has been keeping a secret box of Mementos on the top shelf of our closet, and I don't know what to do or think about it or if I should even bring it up. I honestly don't know how the hell I'm supposed to talk about this. I genuinely am in disbelief. So, backstory. My husband, let's call him Lee, and I have been together since our sophomore year in high school. We were each other's first everythings, and for the most part, I feel like we honestly have a picturesque marriage. I'm currently 5 months pregnant with our first child, and I've taken it upon myself to DIY the guest bathroom into a nursery, but to do that, I want to sort through the stuff in there and get rid of anything unnecessary. I think it's relevant to say that I'm pretty short, 5'2", so I don't really store things up high since I can't reach. But my husband's a foot taller than me, so he doesn't have this tendency, which is how I found the Memento box on the top shelf. It was just a plain cardboard box, so I didn't think much of it at first, but since I didn't remember putting it up there, I wanted to see if it was something that needed to go into storage or if it was just junk. I don't know what I was expecting, but inside the box there was a photo album, a trash bag, and a black leather bag. The album just had my name plus Lee's written on the cover, so I thought it'd be something sweet because Lee has a tendency to gift me sentimental things, but no. The album was full of nude pictures of myself, all of them marked with dates and a short journal-like entry. The first one was from our first time when we were teens, and the latest one was marked from the night I surprised him with my pregnancy announcement. Most of the pictures are poor quality, but some are clearly of me sleeping after the deed. These journal entries talk about how he ranks each experience and his favorite part of it, like some weird logbook. Inside the bags were some of my lingerie and even some old razors and hairbrushes. No. I don't know why on earth he keeps them, but he has 2 bags full. I don't know how or what to do. I mean, is this normal behavior? No. Is this some twisted form of romance on his part? A part of me feels like I shouldn't feel as disgusted as I am, but this violates my own boundaries since I explicitly told him in the past that I was against sending or giving him any nude photos. Reddit, what do? I love my husband, but I'm not sure how to confront him about this. Savley comments, no, this is not normal at all. This is also not romantic at all. The fact that he took pictures of you sleeping and has them in an album is incredibly concerning. Him ranking times y'all had sex is setting off more red flags. This is creepy and inappropriate behavior. I can't imagine my fiance taking pictures of me sleeping, let alone him keeping a log of our sex life. Girl, you have to show him the box and demand answers, and don't go easy on him. None of this is okay or normal, and you should really be concerned as to why he thinks any of that is okay. Love to RP4 comments. Taking creepy pictures of you as you sleep naked and having naked photos of you as a minor in general, and then rating every sexual experience with you is not normal at all. The lingerie too, and the razors and hairbrushes make it even creepier. This is creepy obsessed stalker shit. Deleted comments, what in the Joe Goldberg? Unfortunately, it sounds like you may have married your high school stalker and some of those tendencies carried over. Now, what to do in this situation? I don't know. OP updated March 30th, 2024. Same post, 5 months later. Update, so I'm not sure if anyone cares, and while I don't reply to any of the comments, I did end up talking with my husband about this just a few days ago. It took you 5 months? I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to act like I didn't see anything and go on with my happy life, but after giving birth to my baby girl about a month and a half ago, I guess the stress and everything added up and I let it slip in an argument. I don't remember all that was said, but I was exhausted. And my husband, while he's been super helpful and took over the household chores for me and helps out with baby girl, had just been getting on my nerves. I sort of exploded on him in a way that I'm not proud of. Worst of all, he wasn't even doing anything. All he had been doing was reminiscing about how I used to make a Sims family of us when I was in uni, and how creepy it was. He said it endearingly. I don't really know why I got so mad, but I basically said something along the lines of, how is he the creepy one because he has a secret stash of stuff hidden from me? I felt really bad because he got all pale and went quiet. And then he sort of said he needed space and went to blow off some steam at the shooting range, which he does a lot when he needs to think, so I didn't question it. He came back home around dinner and said he was ready to talk. I asked him about all the things I found, especially the photos. I reminded him again that I never agreed to making nudes of any sort, and he apologized and agreed to burn them. Apparently our history goes back further than I even knew, as he recounted that we actually met before high school. I had no idea, but his mom, who's a divorce attorney, was the very same one my mom used when she separated from her first husband, not my dad. I called my mom after to confirm, and she told me it was true, but her and my mother-in-law never told me because my mom's divorce was messy, and she hates talking about it. Anyways, back to the first meeting thing. My mother-in-law, at the time, often had Lee hang out around her office after school, and it was during one of these days that my mom had to take me with her to speak with mother-in-law in person. Lee was actually the boy that I played with in the waiting room. I can't believe he remembered that because I totally forgot. So according to him, that first meeting was the day he knew I was special. Lee told me that while he had tried to pass it off as a crush, as he got older, it never really went away, which led him to look into his mom's case files. Oh my god. In my state, attorneys have to keep them for 7 years. And he found my mom on Facebook. Then, my dad in her friends list and managed to find my first and last name in order to find my Instagram. He had convinced his parents to let him transfer from his private K-12 school to my public high school, using the excuse they had a better athletics program, which isn't actually far-fetched since my high school was one of the best in the state for that. Once he found out where I was going, thanks to my dumb self putting it in my bio. I thought that us meeting was a sheer coincidence, and that we fell in love naturally, a classic sort of high school sweethearts, but no. Lee had orchestrated it all. I took my daughter with me to stay with my mom and stepdad, while Lee agreed to stay home and let me think. I spoke to my mom, as well as my mother-in-law and father-in-law. Lee's parents are not happy with him in all honesty, and mother-in-law is especially mad because of the client confidentiality. My mom gave me some good advice, that being that I should reflect on if Lee had displayed any other red flag behaviors. I can honestly say that no, he hadn't. But since I know I'm biased, I asked my friends and those close to me if they noticed anything. So far, everything else about Lee seems to check out. I've never felt endangered by him, even when I told him I needed some distance for a few days. I want to make this marriage work, Reddit, but is this something that therapy can fix? Another comment from OP. Hi, this is really late for a reply. I'm sorry about that. I wasn't ready to acknowledge it for a long time. Lee told me that he didn't mean anything by it and wanted to just have a keepsake collection of some memorable moments we shared, but he did acknowledge that he knew it was wrong and apologized, and he promised me he'd get rid of the pictures by burning them. Small update a couple months later, July 2nd, 2024. Lee and I have since been going to couples counseling, and he's going to individual therapy. After the whole drama that happened a few months ago, he sort of had a come to Christ moment, where he realized that the way he had been obsessing over the idea of me wasn't the same as a healthy love. We spent a few weeks apart so he could work on himself, and he turned over his device's passwords and accounts to me so that I could go through and calm any worries because I was really anxious about the explicit photos. Since then, though, we're back at our house and with our baby girl, and our marriage is back on track and better for it. I am very happy that things are working and therapy is 100% a good solution in this scenario. But I don't know how I would feel if I found out the partner who I had been essentially spending my entire life with had orchestrated everything from their childhood to be with me. And not like in a love at first sight, like, romance kind of Prince Charming way, but in a stalking your parents' case files and going from there. I'd be very curious how many of you in the comments would be willing to give your partner another chance after finding this out about them. Would you want to go to therapy? Would you want to leave them? Could you leave them? Because my first thought would be, oh god, if I leave them, I'm putting myself at risk because this is some really creepy behavior and who knows what they're capable of. Lucky for OP, it seems that Lee, besides the creepy stalker shit, is actually a decent guy. And the fact that he's willing to do everything he can to mend the relationship and patch things up and go to personal therapy, couples counseling, and do anything he can to fix things. I mean, of course he would, but at the same time, God, I don't know, because part of me is like, yeah, he's willing to fix himself, but the other half of me is like, yeah, but of course he is. He doesn't want to lose her. Of course he's gonna go through the effort to make... In the end, if she's happy and willing to deal with this and can sleep at night with this, then that's fine. If Lee isn't dangerous, then that's good. If he's going through therapy, then that's good. But I'd be very curious to know how many of you guys would be able to look your partner in the eyes after finding a bunch of your old razors, combs, and photos of you in compromising positions in an album that has explicit descriptions of what's going on. Oh, God. If you have a partner who's perfect in every way except for the creepy box of Mementos, would you be willing to stick things through? I'd be really curious to see how many people in the comments would, because I don't know, because I'm not in this position, so I don't know. This collection is provided by Choice Evidence 1983. Their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." How do I, 31 female, tell my close friend, 35 female, that her adult-only parties are offending people? Once again, Choice Evidence is not the OP. The OP is u/tsim12345, and it was originally posted to r/relationship advice. There is a content warning listed for entitlement. The original post was August 10th, 2024. First of all, I would love a real adult-only party where adults can talk and have conversations without kids interfering. She ain't doing that. She is having a whole party for everyone to focus on her kids only. I thought it was going to be a different kind of adult party, I'm not going to lie. The first time we pretty much all assumed that she had to have planned for childcare that must have backed out or something, but since we weren't sure, we didn't ask her. I think everyone felt awkward believing that they were paying babysitters for an adult night and then having to have her kids at the dinner table, and them very actively part of the evening needing to be entertained. 2 young kids. Then, it happened again. She sent out events for a dinner party in the evening with adults only on the invitation. Then, when we got there, she had set up all these kids' games everywhere. She arranged the night around everyone kind of playing with her kids, and I could tell everyone felt awkward because people just wanted to have an adult night talking, but she had promised the kids that everyone would participate in the games they had set up, and asked everyone if they wouldn't mind playing with the kids. I know that several people who attended the last event were very bothered by having to do this. People were whispering on the side about how they had to pay a babysitter for the night and would have rather brought their kid along, and the kids could have just played games together if it's a family event. We barely even pay a sitter, so I was kind of confused about why I had to spend my very limited babysitter funds on a night that I didn't even get to talk much with other adults because the kids were for sure the center of the evening. She even stopped everyone to gather around to look at the kids' recent art projects and tell stories and sing. Is this normal in other circles? What would you do if this was your friend? If I do say something, how would you explain this so that the person isn't mad or feels like you just don't like their kid? She was mad because everyone left early and she had catered the event, but I think people didn't want to stay and preferred to just go back to their kids because they felt a little disrespected by the way things went. People are saying they don't want to hang out with her anymore. I don't know what to do. Temporary 4634 commented, "This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Why is she so intent on the adults forming relationships with her kids and not their children?" OP responded, "She doesn't have siblings. I think since the kids call her friends aunts, and she wants her kids to be like nieces for us, she wants to help that bond grow, but it would also be good to have her own kids be included. Hope that makes sense." OP responds to multiple comments that her friend's behavior is not normal. What is the friend's personality like? I can't explain her entire personality, but I don't think she's actively manipulating because she's a very kind and considerate person in all other ways. It's like she truly isn't realizing that people are bothered. I don't know if it's because she thinks we all love her kids so much that we want to spend quality time with them without our own kids distracting us. We do love her kids, but I prefer to also bring my own kids so they can all play together. I thought she also loved my kid and would want them to be there to play as well. If that's not the case, then I guess the friendship would be over." And in response to another comment, "You explained it perfectly. We're all so shocked and confused. It's like, how does she think this is normal? What is going on in her head, and how do I bring it up without knowing her reasons? She was so happy for the gathering and felt it went great at first, before we left early, so it's hard to burst her bubble. But I have some great advice and fully plan on addressing it with her at the right time now." OP on if her friend feels her children are more prioritized than other children in the group. OP responds, "Oh, she for sure believes that. She gave her kids everyone's numbers and they text and call us from their little kid phones. I didn't even mention all that because it wasn't really relevant to the party thing. If I'm being fully honest, it's a bit much. She definitely is, like, very attached to the idea of us all being a close part of her kids' lives and getting upset if anyone misses their events or activities. The kids do not seem to notice. All of us have been there since before they were born. Nobody has been a stranger. I've been holding them in my arms since they were a day old and fresh from the hospital, LOL. The girls call us their aunts, and this is normal to us and common for moms and best friends to be an aunt, but may not be in your region or area." So before the update, I just want to say, like, there's nothing wrong with wanting your kids to see your best friends as, like, aunts or uncles. Like, that's not really the issue here. The problem is, well, what was described, and I'm sure I don't need to really explain or go into the details of that. This is absurd on so many levels. I think the easiest way this could be approached is simply by bringing up the fact of, hey, kids should be allowed here because not only should the children have a close relationship with their aunts and uncles, but also with their quote-unquote cousins. And that might solve a lot of the problems there. Because sometimes being confrontational is a bitch. And that's me not even getting started on the fact of how asinine it is that you are paying for a babysitter with limited babysitting funding and essentially going over to then babysit someone else's kids. That's insane. Update August 14th, 2024. Hi everyone, I never expected so many people would have been interested in this situation, but I think it helps me feel vindicated that the situation was just as strange as I had perceived it to be. I wanted to wait for the kids to get back into school so we could discuss it in person, and luckily, I didn't even have to bring it up because someone else did bring it up to her, and she was eager to tell me that people were mad and she didn't know what the problem is with what she did. I was able to get through to her, I'll call her Katie in this post, and also understand her perspective, understand, not agree with, which I'll try to explain here the best I can. I cannot remember every detail of the conversation, but can paraphrase all the key parts. 1. She had been upset because one of our friends, Molly, was taking care of her toddler while Katie's kid kept trying to show her something. Katie noticed this and felt bad that her daughter just wants to share things with people she thinks of as family or aunts. We are just friends, but the kids call each other aunts and each other's kids cousins, so she wanted to build a stronger relationship between her kids and her close friends. She thought that us spending time with her kids away from our kids would be the way for us to show her kids better attention. This is especially important to her because she's an only child. Her parents are dead. Her husband is an only child and his parents are dead. Her children have no biological family. She's worried about what will happen to them if she died, etc. Her mom died when she was a teenager and she feels anxious about her health. 2. She doesn't feel that other people's kids need the same type of bond with her because our kids have biological aunts, uncles, and cousins. She thinks they should be able to go spend time with their biological family and assume that we were all sending our kids to our family and not paying a babysitter. She has no understanding of what it's actually like and romanticizes it. She was shocked to find that my siblings don't just drop their lives to babysit my kid. People who have siblings still pay babysitters, and did for her parties. 3. She feels that she paid for all the food and wine and that alone should cover the expense of the babysitter, even if we did pay one. She knows that paying a sitter plus dinner would still cost more since she catered everything from a very expensive place, and we should have just been happy to get free food and drink. And if playing some kid's game is the price for that, it's not a bad price. Essentially, she argued at first that if someone pays for everything, they can decide. And if we want a different type of gathering, we can foot the bill and throw that gathering. Now, how I handled this. That last note did eventually change to a more understanding perspective as I explained more and more about how even though she is technically right, she cannot maintain strong friendships with this mindset. You cannot provide meals for people with strings attached and deception involved. We didn't know until we got there, and expect us to love it. She can do whatever she likes, but people can also end a friendship if they like. So she's free to do it, but not free from the consequences of it. I was also very clear to her that if her goal is to get stronger bonds for her kids, the way to do that is to love the bond with our kids and include them. That part seemed to be totally unexpected to her. I had to explain that people will be so upset by the fact that she is including their kids in kid events or isn't accepting that a parent needs to take care of their own kid first before focusing on hers, that they won't even want to be part of her family, because that isn't what a family is. My sister doesn't expect me to leave my kid behind and be only with my nephews. My sister would never tell me not to bring my daughter to a family event because she loves my daughter, and that makes me love her, and my nephews even more. I had to explain this. Lastly, she is rich, and did grow up rich, and as the only child, she admits that she struggles to see things from other perspectives, or to consider others' feelings, and she has to make a conscious attempt to really see outside of her own wants and needs. She said she even talks about this in therapy, and that's why she goes out of her way to do nice things for us. I put some examples of her acts of kindness in the original post, because that's her way of trying to actively be a generous and caring person. She did cry as expected, especially when she was talking about her kids not having any family and her mom and dad dying. And I'm very glad I did not mention it at parties like everyone suggested, because I would have never wanted her to do that in front of people. It goes deep, and she needs therapy to continue working on it. Overall, she did come around to the realization that she needs to alter her way of thinking about it and do things differently if she wants to achieve what she claims. She continued to reiterate how much her kids love me and how much she does love my kid too. She said she wants to do things the right way, she's just frustrated because what makes sense to her doesn't make sense to other people. But she accepts that it's her who will need to fix her way of thinking. A lot of crying and some arguing, but overall it does appear that we are still friends. We hugged and she said she's going to do something nice for everyone and their kids. If anyone still has questions about specific things said, I can try to answer in the comments. Appreciate everyone's help. I felt much better going into it knowing that I was not wrong for standing my ground on this. Relevant comments. OP on having conversations with her friend about being out of touch with different perspectives for social and mental growths. It seemed genuine to me, and it is not the first time that she had been so out of touch. It's vastly different from how I was raised with 4 siblings in a poor home. I have to stop and consider what her mind is like, and she needs to stop and consider how different her perspective is. I can't fathom being so selfish because I didn't even get my own birthday party growing up. My sister's birthday was close to mine, so we shared a party. Well, I hope she is serious about doing better, and if not, I can always wish her the best but distance myself. Another response, it went as well as I could hope. Tough at first, but cooled down and became more emotional than an argument. I think she needs to continue therapy about her parents because she's holding on to a lot about her mom dying, and her dad just used money to take the place of raising her after she died. Then he died too. There are some things that money can't buy, and in this case, social awareness. OP on if her friend is receiving therapy. OP's response, she's been in therapy for forever, so I'm starting to feel like these people just take her money because, she even mentioned that the therapist thought it was a good idea to have her friends get closer to her kids to ease her anxiety about them lacking a family. I don't know if she misunderstood the idea, but I highly doubt they intended for her to do it the way she did. Either that or the therapist is out of touch as well, LOL. Yeah, and I'm totally wondering if she misunderstood what they had said for her to do. She may have taken that bit of advice and made up her own way of doing it, which clearly didn't work out. Does OP feel like her friend has been clueless on how things should be when socializing with other people? OP responds, if you understood more of her life, it would maybe make more sense. I'm just now starting to realize how warped some of her perceptions still are. As I said, she lost her mom. Then, before her dad died, he didn't really nurture her, but just kind of gave her money and a nanny to take care of her. Her nanny was her only friend. Her dad had specific issues, and I won't say more than that, but she was not allowed to ever have a friend over or be with friends. She was homeschooled for some time. He had different types of beliefs than I would say is typical. I think she seems so normal at times that I forget how different her life has been until a situation like this happens, and I realize she sees the world differently. This makes too much sense for how all of this went, and it's actually really sad. I'm happy that you guys just didn't cut her out of your life because that probably would have destroyed her. And yeah, it seems like through television and media, she probably romanticized what life could be like. with having a large extended family, something that she never had, and in the process of doing so, made the mistake of not realizing that extended family goes beyond the connections that she seems to think is just a standardized way of approaching things. And it's not her fault either. That's kind of the sad part of it. And it sounds like that she's been so disconnected from, well, social life that even when her therapist might be trying to help her, she just can't grasp or understand what they actually mean. Now, that is definitely a very generous interpretation of what the therapist might be trying to do, because maybe they are trying to take her money. But there's also a chance that she just, even with what the therapist tells her, she can't fully grasp the bigger picture of things. I don't think anyone's the bad guy here. She just needed a reality check. And an interesting part of this is a lot of people might romanticize what it could be like living a richer lifestyle and having a lot of, well, luxuries and amenities that aren't common. But what's interesting is, at the same time, she's romanticizing life outside of that. And it's an interesting thing to look at, that the life that you live might be romanticized by another person. So make sure you just live the best of it. Collected by Lucy Aria Rose, "I'm keeping the garlic," is their tagline. Final update to, am I the asshole for not trying harder to let my ex know our son passed? The original poster is, "Throw away, I tried." Posted in r/am I the asshole. A few general content warnings. There's child death as well as verbal abuse. Originally posted May 21st, 2023. Sorry for any layout issues, I'm on my phone. Also, throwaway, as my ex follows my main. Both myself, female, and my partner, male, were 28 when I found out I was pregnant. We were together for 4 years. Personally, I didn't want the child. My work was offering potential advances with my position and I was excited for it, but after a lot of talking, we decided to go forward with it. When I was around 20 weeks, just after finding out the gender, he disappeared. I couldn't contact him. He wouldn't answer the phone or messages. I got worried and messaged his mother and found out he was living back with her and was overwhelmed with the situation. He kept paying his part of the bills over to my bank each month, but I received no contact. I even tried going over, but nothing. By about 27 weeks, I gave up trying, gave up crying, and just got on with what I thought was a future as a single mother. I bought everything needed over the next couple of weeks and set it all up. At 31 weeks, I started having pains, but put it down to, oh no, this one's gonna be rough for me. At 31 weeks, I started having pains, but put it down to Braxton Hicks. Just before 32 weeks, my waters went and I went into labor. With the baby coming very quickly, he went straight into the NICU. I messaged and rang my ex and his mother, no response. Less than a week later, my son passed. Fuck, man. Okay. Less than a week later, my son passed to complications of early birth. I again tried to contact my ex and his mother, left voicemails and messages, nothing. The next few weeks were a blur, but with the help of my mother and father, his funeral was arranged. They tried to contact ex and his mother also, still nothing. I sent more messages, nothing. I'm assuming we were probably all blocked, but honestly, at that point, I didn't care. I was so broken. His funeral came and went. It was beautiful and horrible. I stopped messaging and told my family not to bother after the funeral had passed. I couldn't deal with it anymore. About 5 months after his birth/death, my ex turned up, let himself in. I wasn't at home, but when I got back, he was instantly hostile. The flat was clearly not set up nor accommodating a small child. He demanded to see his son. I broke down and told him what happened. I have never seen him so sad and angry. He stormed out, slamming the door on his way out. Within half an hour, I got a nasty call from his mother, followed by messages from siblings and their family. How dare I not let them know about something so serious? How could I hide something like that out of petty spite? I truly didn't. I tried. But I couldn't keep trying. It's been nearly 3 weeks now of them being awful. I was speaking to my sister this weekend and she said, to be fair, it was a bit of a dick move to not keep trying. They deserve to know. Was it? I tried so hard to let him know, but I was struggling so hard too. I lost my son too. Am I the asshole? Should I have done more? Fuck. Edit. Thank you all so much for your responses. Sorry for not replying to any. Reading them has been a lot. Honestly, I'm going to drink a bottle of wine or two, read your responses, and cry myself to sleep. Writing this all out and living it again has been hard. Unfortunately, I'm not able to change the locks. Landlord said no, but my tenancy ends on the 12th of June, and I already have a new flat to move into, and thankfully, my dad has been able to cover the cost of a private therapist, and I see her again Tuesday. Thank you all so much again for your kind words. Edit 2. If I had realized this was going to blow up so much, then I probably would have just posted it to my main. If you see this post anyway, read it, Lewis. Then read it again. Then read the comments, then just leave me alone. Thank you all for your comments. I'm going to show my therapist the post when I see her and talk it through. But honestly, it has helped a lot. Even if I did cry quite a bit. I'm going to sleep now and won't be back on this post, but thank you all. Heart Unicode. OP is voted not the asshole. Update post, August 10th, 2023, 2.5 months later. The previous post was locked, but I've had a few messages asking after me, so before I leave this account completely, I just want to let people know that I'm alright. The move went smoothly. I'm far enough away that there is no risk of bumping into my ex or his family. I changed my number and deleted all social media, so I haven't had anything from them personally for about 6 weeks. My sister apologized for what she said, and we've spoken a lot about it all. I definitely don't think our relationship is the same, but we're okay. I still hear everything they're speaking badly about me from friends, but I try to ignore it. I'm in therapy. Fuck them. Oh my fucking god. I'm still in therapy and I'm trying my hardest to move forward with everything. I visit my son's grave when I can. Thankfully, my ex and his family care so little about more than themselves, they never asked where he's buried, so I can do so in peace. Thank you all for everything you said. I found myself going back to the previous posts a lot over the last couple of months, and it's helped more than I can express. I'll be leaving this account now, but again, thank you. Relevant comments. Can you explain what your sister said / was thinking? My dad chewed her out in a big way when he found out what she said to me. She said she didn't realize how much we tried to contact him and thought it was like when I was pregnant. That I decided not to bother with my ex anymore and just do it all myself. Honestly, it seems like bullshit. My parents were my support throughout everything, but my sister wasn't so absent. She didn't know we rang and messaged a lot. But her apology did seem genuine, and she's had nothing nice to say about how they've been since. If anyone's going to blow up them, it'll be her, but my dad said to leave it and let them ruin themselves. Update post 2, April 24th, 2024, 8 months later. Forgot about Reddit till I was clearing out some apps for phone space. Thought I'd send out a final update before I send the app to the void. Wish I could say things are amazing. Great job, new partner, blah blah blah, but it's nothing as great or exciting as that. Moved into my new flat last year and is nice. Forgot how expensive it is to live alone, but I'm managing. I did end up getting a new job. Its pay is about the same, job role also, but X doesn't know where it is. He didn't show up at old job or anything exciting like that. I just wanted a new start along with my new home. No new partner. I don't have it in me to date yet. Sister stuff. We're limited contact. She apologized, but she still speaks with X on occasions according to my mum. Nothing dramatic and Reddit style like, oh my god, they're actually secretly fucking and have 5 babies and blah. Just that my sister will talk to him if they bump into each other, but honestly, kinda hurts after everything. Still in therapy. I doubled the length of sessions around the 1-year date of my son's passing. Thankfully, my ex didn't turn up at his grave, or at least not when I was there. I'm not gonna go into it too much, but it sucked. It hurt a lot and I spent quite a few days drunk and crying in bed after the visit. My dad has been my rock throughout all of this. I'm still paying him back for everything. He waves me off when I say I'm gonna pay him X amount of pounds, amount this month, but I know his bank cries. We have a morning together on Sunday where we just drink tea, catch up, maybe put on the F1. It's nice, and I love the time together. But basically, just boring. Thankfully. No ex contact nor his family, no massive life changes, just one foot in front of the other. I reread everything I posted last year and read lots of the comments again, and I just wanted to say thank you. I was in a really bad place mentally, and it was hard to see that I wasn't the villain in this. The mixture of therapy and all the comments helped. So, thank you all. Bye-bye. Unicode Heart. Honestly, for things to be boring is really all I can wish for. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code EYES directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code EYES at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.